Welcome, guys. I'm so excited to, be here with you today on this beautiful Thursday. Hope everyone's staying safe and healthy during this, crazy time that we're going through together. I'm excited to, be on this call and to have all of the attendees tuning in today live. This is a very special partnership that I believe is so necessary in the times we're going through. I don't believe we're in a quarantine. I believe we're being cocooned. So, to go inward and to expand your mindset and your perception and to transform your paradigm through a phase of metamorphosis. I mean, that's exactly what, Brian and Madison Dalmasso are experts at. They're top consultants with Bob Proctor's, law of attraction teachings. And, it's honestly been an honor to, collaborate with them. We've had an amazing, few weeks of just getting to know each other. And we have so much, aligned with, the things that have helped us become successful in our life. Everything starts in the mind, guys. For me, I've been on this entrepreneur journey for almost 10 years. And when I was in college, I cocooned myself, and ironically enough, as I was studying Bob Proctor videos on YouTube for free, it's about being resourceful. We have access to so much knowledge. So, that phase of just cocooning myself, expanding my mindset and paradigm, by the time I was done with school, I was able to travel the world and build multiple businesses and streams of income online and offline too. So, I'm excited to, officially get this call kicked off, guys. If you have any questions throughout the process, post in the comments. And yeah, I want to hand it off to Madison, take it away.
Thanks, Darren. I'm so grateful for our partnership. It's been lovely getting to know you over the last few weeks or so. Really excited to dive into tonight's call with you guys. Thank you for everyone who took the time out of their day to join us. And today we're going to start off with the obvious, right? We can't ignore the obvious pandemic that has come amongst us. And I want to go over with you guys, there's two views, right? When things like this happen, there's always a choice. There's two views right now. There's one view of the masses, and this view is they're watching TV, they're tuning into the news, they're tuning into the radio, they're listening to what the news is telling them, what the TV is telling them. They're essentially looking externally, looking to the outside, right, for validation of what's going to happen in their near future, right? They're looking for the outside for answers. They're looking for the outside to tell them what's going to happen in business over the next few months. They're looking to the news to tell them, when they should shut down their business. They're looking to, other people in their current environments, probably the media, for answers. And the sad part about this is that the media has one goal. We were connecting with a Hollywood producer last week, and he shared with us, we might think that they have our best intentions or their best intentions for us, but really they have one goal, and that's to sell products. That's to sell products and services. And so they're just really looking to get our attention and to hold our attention. And so to do that, they have to tell the most shocking, most interesting stories. And generally, these are things that are negative, lower vibration, lower frequency, things that we don't want to bring into our reality. And because we watch this and we consume this we consume our minds with this, thoughts become things. And my dad's going to dig into that with you guys tonight. But it's so important what you choose to let into your mind. And to the masses right now, they're worrying, they're doubting, they're fearing what's going to happen. They feel like they're not in control. And if you're feeling like this, it's totally okay. But the cool part is we're going to show you how to not think like this, right? How the 1% thinks. The other view right now is the 1%. Right? It's the perception of the 1% of the world. And this picture I thought was so fitting because the 1% views them as the creator of their reality, right? They are controlling their results. They are in control of what's happening in their physical world. They have a totally different way about going throughout their day. They probably don't watch the news. They probably don't look outside for answers. They certainly don't turn on the television and listen to the next Joe Schmo who's going to tell them that businesses are collapsing or businesses are shutting down or you should stop selling or blah, blah, blah. All of these beliefs and paradigms that the outside world is trying to project on us, they kind of just shut out. because they know better, right? They understand that they are the creator of their reality and that they get to choose what they bring in, what they manifest, right? If we reflect back to times like the Great Depression or really hard times in history, yeah, they were hard times for the masses, but there was also people who thrived during those times. There was also people who had a different perspective, right? They were at a different level of awareness, a higher level of awareness. And so they were able to not have that low in their life, not have that dip in their life, or not participate in the chaos that the world was going through. So there's two choices with anything, right? And there's two roads. And when I graduated college, I had this same choice to make, right? There's always the way of the masses. There's always the way of the 1%. And we don't want to be insensitive to what's going on, right? It's a very sensitive, odd, confusing time. We can't deny that. We don't want to be ignorant or insensitive to it. And that's not what I'm suggesting. But what I am suggesting is that you have a different perspective of what's going on. Maybe you open your eyes to a different way of looking at things instead of succumbing to the paradigms and the beliefs and the worry, doubt, and fear that the masses are succumbing to right now. Okay, so we always have that choice. Now we have choices, but there's still a problem, right? There's a problem because even when you say, okay, great, I'm gonna go my way, I'm gonna make my choice, I'm gonna go this route, the road less traveled, I'm gonna do it, here I go, you get all excited. And then you realize that you have no idea how your mind works, or you have no idea how it's gonna happen. Or maybe you don't believe it can happen. Or maybe you're like, yeah, I want this, but I don't have faith in myself. I don't really believe in myself. How is this going to happen? I don't understand. I don't have the money. I don't have the capital. I don't have the people. I don't have the connections. What am I going to do? Maybe you see all these doors, just like this picture. You see all these opportunities right now. I mean, back then, my dad and I were talking, they had, plumber, electrician, construction worker, very mechanical jobs that they just went into, healthcare, and now we have this whole new wave of the new economy. And it's beautiful, but it can also be confusing if you're not educated on it, right? And unfortunately, we're not taught this stuff in schools. And so although you have all these amazing, beautiful options, you still lack the knowledge of, okay, but how? Okay, great, but how? How entrepreneurship? Like, how do I do this? How do I step into this? I wasn't taught this in schools, right? This might be your thinking. And so this might be you, right? I thought this picture was so fitting because this was me when I graduated college. It was me. And if you feel like you're like a floundering fish out of water right now, you've decided to go your own route. You've decided to do something new. You've decided to take on your own dreams. But again, you don't know the how. You don't know where the money's going to come from. You don't know how long it's going to take. You're lacking experience, all these things. You don't understand how your mind works. You don't understand how to co-create, which we're going to dive into. And so you end up floundering like a fish out of water. Maybe you don't have income coming in. Maybe the people aren't showing up and you're starting to worry. You're starting to fear what's going to happen. You're starting to doubt yourself. Maybe that 9 to 5 isn't so bad after all, right? Maybe you're starting to retract on your dreams because you just don't see the physical evidence showing up for you. Okay, I know this was me before I had the understanding of what we're going to go over with you guys tonight. And so I want to talk for a second about co-creation. And whether you believe in God or the universe or a higher power, whatever it is that you identify with, okay? But you do have to understand that we are always co-creating with whatever you identify with, right? We're not born to just observe the outside world and accept it as fact. We're not supposed to just observe things, accept them, and keep working with the physical evidence of what's going on. And just keep working with the mechanical and the physical and how can we get better and work harder and put in more time and right? We want to co-create. We want to come from a place of understanding where we are able to start with thoughts and ideas and new thinking, right? And understand that we have this power to create. We weren't born to just exist and fit into society's construct, right? We were born to create. I want to invite you guys to think differently with me. And this might be the first time your eyes and ears have been open to this kind of information. And I remember my first time, I was just like, oh my goodness, this is so amazing. This is so profound, but how? How do I take part in this? How do I know more? I was so eager to learn more. And I want to invite you to think differently. What if this whole pandemic thing was good for you? What if this pandemic came to you as a friend? And instead of it shaking up your world and being this negative stimulus, maybe it comes and it says, it's checking in on you. Maybe if you're not following your passion and you're not doing exactly what you want to be doing, maybe this virus has come to wake you up to what you're supposed to be doing here. Maybe it's giving you a time to pause and think about what you really want to do with your life. Maybe this is a time where business can flourish and not diminish. Maybe this is a time where you can attract more clients and more sales than ever before if you would just start thinking differently. Okay, so that's our whole goal with you guys tonight, is to get you to shift your thinking from the masses to how the 1% of the world thinks. Now, what's really cool is we have this community that I want to invite you guys to be a part of if you feel that it resonates. It's called Mindset Masters. And what we do is we teach people how to think, act, and operate like the wealthy 1%, like the wealthiest people in the world. As I was saying before, why isn't this information taught in schools? Okay, I'm going to go over and hand it to my dad now, and he's going to go more into the mechanics of it. More of the how, more of the how does our mind work? How do we co-create? How do we actually move our ideas into the physical form? So I want to invite you guys. I'm going to drop a link in the chat midway, and I invite you to click on it and take a look at the link. We're also going to share more with you at the end. So Dad, I'm going to hand it over to you. Can you hear me?
Hey, Maddie, can you hear me okay?
Perfect.
Awesome. Great job on that. You definitely get my wheels turning as well. And just really, really excited to be here. Dee, thanks for inviting us. Just happy to serve your audience and just really get the message out, because this stuff is definitely not taught in schools, as Maddie was saying. And I really, really feel for the younger generation right now, because they're getting out of high school, even getting out of college, and there's a million ways to earn money. So how do you pick out of a million? Back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, there used to be like half a dozen things to do, right? You were tradesmen. Almost everybody was tradesmen back then. Now it's almost like there's just so many choices. Like, what do you do? So guys, we're going to teach you the science of wealth building. We're going to teach you how to create your own economy, so things like this virus or anything else that comes down the pipe won't take you down. Right now I have a dozen revenue streams, and I do have a construction company that is shut down. But thankfully I didn't skip a beat, because we have consulting. I have a software company. We have a clothing company, Forex trading. I have a lot of different companies. And when you have your own economy like that, no one company can take you down. And that's what we're going to teach you guys to do here, is to think and act and operate like the world's wealthiest people. And like Darren was saying, none of this is my content. I've just been a really good student. I've been studying with Bob for years. And Bob Proctor is right now currently the world's most affluent wealth mindset coach, right? He's been studying for 60 years, 59 and a half years, and he's been teaching and training all over the world for 6 decades. And I want you to think about something. This man has not needed money in 6 decades. He's been a multimillionaire for 6 decades. So right now, the current person living in the world that understands this the most is Bob Proctor. And Bob was mentored by Earl Nightingale. You guys might not know Earl, but he was mentored by Napoleon Hill, who was the author of Think and Grow Rich, right? And Napoleon was mentored by Andrew Carnegie, and Andrew Carnegie was the world's first recorded billionaire. So what we're talking about here is not opinion. It's actually the science of wealth building, and anybody can learn this stuff. The problem is that schools are not teaching it. That's why the masses are confused. They just don't teach any of this stuff in school, and we're going to get deeper into that. So, all right, guys, so here's the deal. 95% of wealth building is mindset, and it's 5% what you do. I'm going to say that again. 95% is mindset, and 5% what you do. What I mean by that, it doesn't matter if you're in real estate, if you're in network marketing, if you're in Forex trading, if you have multiple revenue streams. It doesn't matter what you do. It's the mindset behind that. I'm going to give you some examples here, right? You can be a stock trader on the New York Stock Exchange, or you can be a stock trader. Think about that, right? Same industry, different mindset. The only difference is mindset, right? It's a level of awareness and mindset, right, guys? So another example here, you can be in real estate, right, like some of the masses are, or you can be in real estate like Uncle G, right? Think about that. Same industry. The only difference is mindset and levels of awareness. Really, really think about this. What industry are you in, and who is at the top of that industry? The only difference is awareness and mindset. It's not the industry. And that's why Madison and myself, we are mindset coaches. We teach awareness. We teach the wealth mindset. And we're working with people like you all over the world. And I know some of you guys here in network marketing, same thing. You can be a network marketer, right? Or You could be a network marketer like Alex Morton, who's, I believe he's earning over $1 million a month and just crushing it in his late 20s. And he's just growing, right? Here he is with Grant Cardone. So you can learn to think and act and operate like the 1%. That's what we're here to teach you guys here tonight. All right, guys. And like Maddie said, right now there's an environmental condition going on, right? This virus that's going on around the world, it's just an environmental stimulus. You don't have to react to it. You can respond to it. The way I look at it is, where is all the energy going, right? Money doesn't disappear. It just moves around. And our companies are positioned in front of this thing. Like, everybody's looking for information. Home-based businesses are on the rise. I mean, if you're in network marketing or any home-based business, there will probably be a never time in history like this where more energy is driving towards home-based businesses, right? All the people, even 3 months ago, they were saying, oh, that's cute, you get a home-based business. Now they're stuck at home saying, I wish I had a home-based business, right? And we don't want to be, arrogant about this. We don't want to be, I told you so. It's not like that. It's just being aware. So congratulate yourself if you do have a home-based business, because you're aware that you need to have multiple things going on to create your own economy. All right, guys, what I'm going to teach here is law, right? It's not opinion. It's really the laws of achievement, the laws of creation. It's called the science of getting wealthy. And these materials have helped me. Way back in the day, I was able to take my construction company from $1 million to 10 million in a 12-month period. So that's a 10X, right? Long before Grant Cardone was saying 10X, I was able to 10X my construction company using the material we teach here. And we've gone on since then, like I said, to create a software company, a gaming company. We have the consulting company. We operate all over the world with people. And I don't say this to impress you. I say it to impress upon you. I went into my early 40s without having this information, right? 2 divorces, what I call American broke. I was barely cracking 6 figures, and that's American broke in your early 40s. And so what's the difference, right? Well, the difference was I got with a mentor. I got with Bob Proctor, and I followed a proven system. Right? So a lot of people are following people, but they don't have a proven system. Their results wouldn't indicate they know what they're talking about. Everybody's got opinions. What you want to do is follow people that have a track record and proven results. See, guys, I don't take the advice of millionaires. I only train with billionaires because that's where I'm going. My current goal is $21 billion in net worth and assets by age 60, right? And that's what spawned all these other companies. So what I really want to talk to you guys about is levels of awareness. Right? It's not your fault. I do want to clarify that. It's not your fault where you are. It's not your parents' fault. It's not the school's fault. We were born ignorant. We were born into ignorance, and it's generational ignorance, at least as far as wealth building goes. Right? So $50,000 a year is just a level of awareness. Nobody's earning $50,000 a year because that's what they want. They're earning $50,000 a year because that's what they're aware of how to do. Does that make sense, guys? Type a 1 in the chat if this is resonating, because everything is levels of awareness. All right? And 100,000 a year is the same thing, right? Nobody's earning 100K a year because that's what they want to earn. They're earning that because that's what they're aware of how to earn. And it's the same thing with 250,000, 500,000. These are just levels of awareness. If you do want to get from 50,000 to 250K a year or a month or a week, none of it matters. There's no such thing as big or small. Then you're going to have to raise your level of awareness and how the mind-body connection works, from the conscious to the subconscious and the body, right? When I talk about wealthy people, the top 1%, we think and act and operate differently from the masses, and our results would say so. It's the way we process information, right? So these are just frequencies and levels of awareness. So 500,000, 1 million, 5 million a year, 5 million a month, whatever you want is just whatever you want. There's no such thing as big or small. There's just levels of awareness. And there's also your limiting beliefs, your belief system of what you think is possible, right? When people say, well, that doesn't sound logical. Logical is very subjective. What's logical to you is probably not logical to Warren Buffett. Does that make sense, guys? So 5 million a year or a month is just a frequency. It's a level of awareness. If you talk about, if you talk to Warren Buffett about earning 5 million a month, he'd be like, well, that's cute. He earns 1.5 million a day just from the dividend interest of Coca-Cola stocks alone. You guys see what I mean about relativity? It's all relative. There's no such thing as big or small. And what happens if you start to study, and this is what our Mindset Mastery program is all about, it's the spaced repetition of content over time. So the Matrix Mindset Academy that we're showing here, what we do is we use the spaced repetition of content over time. We coach on a daily live basis on Facebook. And what happens is if you start to hear this information, you start to raise your level of awareness, you get new information, and you start to take actions differently, right? The things you were doing yesterday are different than what you're doing today inside of your companies. And you'll start to see your levels of awareness come up. And as your levels of awareness come up, your income follows. See, the physical world follows thought energy. We don't have the physical thing and then think about it. You have to raise your level of awareness over time through the spaced repetition of studying. All right. And what will happen if you work with us in the Mindset Academy is you'll eventually hit your goals. And then you'll realize when you get to goals that you could have gone here. All right, guys, there is no such thing as big or small. The earth is not big or small, right? It's not big or small until you compare it to something like a golf ball or the universe. Does that make sense, guys? This resonate? Type of 1 in the chat if this is resonating, because I want you to get really clear here. There's no such thing as big or small. But if you think 100K a month is a lot, you'll never achieve it because you think it's a lot and you're putting it out there. You're putting it away from yourself. You got to fall in love with 100K a month. You got to own it, live it, breathe it. What does it feel like? What are you driving? Where are you living? Who are you hanging out with? What does your life look like? Like, you literally have to go there. It's called the actor's technique. And when you go there and stay there in your mind, your physical body will catch up. Your subconscious mind will cause your body to take the actions to produce the result of the, well, let's call it a fantasy that you're living every day, right? All right, guys, so I want to have a little fun with you guys. Play along with me here. Type in the chat. What do you guys think this is? What does this look like to you guys? A baby. Yep. Kind of obvious, right? A baby, baby. A lot of babies in the chat, right? No, guys, this is you. This is you at your current income. All right. And you're just not aware, right? Unless you're earning $1 million a month or $1 million a week, you're just not aware and building wealth. And that's okay. There's no reason you should, because our school systems are not teaching wealth building. They're teaching memory, right? They're teaching memory. They're not teaching thinking or reasoning, and they're certainly not teaching wealth building. So this is just you at your current level of awareness, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, what I want you to understand, and the reason why I use the baby is this resonates with everybody. If we were to take you at 3 months old and we put your clothes next to you and said, okay, baby, have at it and get dressed, you would have probably bobbled your head, drooled a little bit. You probably would have crapped your diaper, but you wouldn't have put the pants on, right? You wouldn't have put your clothes on because you were not aware of how to do this. Does this make sense, guys? You weren't even aware of how to control your arms or speak, never mind put your clothes on, right? So there's no difference here, right? There's no difference. If you're looking to get to 100 grand a month, you're just not aware. It's not a big deal. It's not even hard to do. You're simply not aware. And guys, we would have used the word impossible for a 3-month-old baby to be able to put their clothes on. Think about that. Just levels of awareness. All right, guys. So play along with me again here. What do you think this represents? What is this? What does this look like to you guys? Growth? Yeah, it could be growth. Enjoying the income. What's about to happen? Get us messy. Yeah, exactly. This is still you. This is still somebody trying something new. And I really want you to pay attention to this, guys. Because the only difference between this little baby and maybe where you guys are now or the rest of the civilized world is the baby doesn't care. I mean, there's not 1 ounce of food that's in the baby's mouth, right? It's completely failing at the mission, but it doesn't care. It's having fun trying. Think about this, guys. It's all about the journey. It's not about hitting your goal. It's about the person you become on the journey to hitting your goal. And you guys got to just strip away all this nonsense about caring what other people think and have fun with the process. Have fun with the journey. All right, guys? And there's one thing I want you to understand, and I really want you to write this one down. Whatever's going on in your life, wherever you're at, if you're struggling, if you're not hitting your goals physically, financially, spiritually, all that stuff, relationships, it's not your fault. I want you to understand that it's not your fault. It's not your parents' fault. It's not the school system's fault. There's no blame here. It's just generational ignorance. And ignorance is not a bad term. It just means not knowing. We are not born into a society where our parents know how to generate significant wealth. If they did, then we would all be wealthy as teenagers, right? There's kids 15 years old all over the globe right now that are earning millions because they're becoming aware. Does that make sense, guys? So it's not your fault. It's not your parents' fault. It's just levels of awareness. All right, guys, now what I want you to understand here is that the only difference between you and Warren Buffett is a few simple things, right? Everybody's born the same. We're born a blank slate. We're born not programmed, wide open. And what Warren Buffett did is he used the continuous spaced repetition of study the continuous spaced repetition of action. He had continuous unwavering faith. And I don't have to wonder this. I've never met him yet. I do plan to. But I know he had faith, because faith is knowing. It's not wondering if you're going to succeed. And then he did these things, study and action and faith, over a reasonable period of time, and he never stopped. And he raised his level of awareness over time. He still reads 6 books a week. Now the masses, at least my generation, as soon as we get out of school, we stop studying. Like we're done with that. I didn't enjoy that. Didn't really learn much, right? Little math, little English, little history, little science. Certainly didn't learn about wealth building or self-image or building relationships or things that would be important, right? So there's a reason why this happens, guys, right? But this is how Warren Buffett became Warren Buffett. Started off the identical way you guys did, the identical way that I did. Just different environmental circumstances, different decisions, and you guys are going to have a decision here tonight if you want to progress and move forward with us or not. All right, guys, so again, I want you to play along with me. I'm going to do a little bit of some simple analogies here. Human beings are conduits. We are conduits for energy flow. We have energy flowing to and through this. And again, this is not opinion, this is physics. When you have a thought, it becomes a thing, right? If you want to build a house, you have to first think about that. Even if you want to eat, right? That thought turns into you getting food or getting food from the grocery store, the physical thing. So thoughts become things. That's not opinions, that's science, right? So your thoughts are the result, or you are the result of your thinking, right? So human beings are conduits for energy flow. And we create what the dominant thoughts in our mind are. Now, the problem is most people have sporadic thoughts. They can't hold the image of what they want. They have limiting beliefs about what's even possible. Well, a limiting belief in your mind is like turning the light switch off and expecting the light to be on. Does that make sense, guys? So when I say thoughts become things, Steve Jobs started with $750 in a garage, and he created the largest company in the world. Think about that. $750 in a garage at a young age, and he literally created the largest company in the world. So thoughts become things. That's not just a cute phrase. That's how the entire universe was created, if you want to get into a deeper discussion. All right, guys, so play along with me again here. I want to ask you guys, what is wrong with this picture? Take a look at this picture. What is wrong with this picture? Anybody have a guess? What do you guys think is wrong with this picture? The switch is off. Yeah, the switch is off. Now, this is common sense, right? If you want the light to be on, you have to turn the switch on. But people don't understand. If you want to get to 100,000 a month, you got to turn the switch on. You got to super saturate your mind with 100,000 a month. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What is the vibration of what 100,000 is? What are you driving? Where are you living? Who are you with? Are you traveling the world? Are you philanthropic? If you can't visualize that, if you can't put yourself there, then you will never get there. And neither will I, neither will anybody. The reason Michael Jordan became Michael Jordan is because at age 5, he was visualizing it. It was super saturated in his mind. The switch was on, right? It's energy flow. It's high vibration. You can't start in a network marketing company one day and then have fear, doubt, lack, and worry the next day, because that's turning the light switch off. I can't doubt, well, what are my friends going to think? Your friends aren't thinking. Like, stop worrying about it, right? Worry. If you're trying to get to 100K a month or more, almost nobody around you is going to know what the hell you're talking about. They're not going to relate to you. They're going to be on a different vibration, right? And that's why we created the Mindset Masters, because everybody in there is in a high vibration, right? There's hundreds. We're just coming up on 600 people and growing in that community. Everybody in there is moving towards very, very high incomes and high lives. It's not all about the money, guys, either. I don't want you to think this is just a money webinar, right? Money is just energy. Money is a magnifier. But in order to live a heavenly life and help other people, it usually requires a lot of money, right? And here's the biggest thing. Most people are caring and wondering what other people are going to think about what you're doing. Well, guys, take a look around. People aren't thinking. Take a look around. People are smoking and vaping and dumping soda in their bodies and Dunkin' Donuts and McDonald's, and they're not exercising. They're just like laying around and they're Netflix and chilling. People are not thinking. But you're worried about what people think. People fear public speaking because they're worried about what people think. People aren't thinking. In general, the masses are just not thinking. That's why 1% of the world is controlling 96% of all the wealth, right? But we want to get you guys thinking, and that's what this webinar is all about. See, most people, guys, what they're doing is they're working with ice cubes trying to get warm, right? If you're cold, do you work with ice cubes? Do you turn the air conditioner on? Do you jump in a frozen lake? No, right? That's what people are doing, right? They want to get to 100K a month and they have doubts of fear and worry and I can't and what are other people thinking? Guys, if you want to get warm, you only work with sources of heat, right? You crank up the thermostat, you put some logs on the fire, right? You snuggle up, you get a blanket, whatever it is. You wouldn't even think for a second about getting ice cubes if you were cold and you're trying to get warm. So why would you think for a second about doubt, fear, lack, and worry if you're trying to get rich? Is this starting to make sense, guys? This resonate? Type of 1 in the chat if this is resonating, because to me, this is just science. This is black and white. If you want to create, you got to turn the switch on. And you can't flick the switch up and down either, right? If you want the light on, you need consistent energy flow. What that means, guys, is you need to fall in love with your dream, and you need to have a healthy obsession every single morning, noon, and night. And if you get a negative thought, you got to kick it out, right? Grant Cardone doesn't think about the ways he can't do something. He only thinks about moving towards that, right? Only towards what he wants. People like Robert Kiyosaki, Bob Proctor, myself, Madison, we only think about what we want because we understand energy flow. We understand how this works. We want to turn the light switch on, right? And Albert Einstein said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. You cannot do what you did yesterday and get different results tomorrow. That's insane, right? And that's why we created the Mindset Masters, so we can help unlock the secrets for you guys, right? We can do the daily spaced repetition of content. We can work with you guys on revenue streams and understanding wealth building and the mindset behind it, right? So guys, like I said, 96% of the world's wealth is earned by 1% of the population. Now, why is this? Why is this? 96% of the world's wealth is earned by 1% of the people. Everybody goes through school. Everybody goes to higher learning, and everybody's born in the same world, right? But all the wealth goes towards 1% of the people. And think about this one. Even in America, 93% of people get to retirement age, and they have to work second jobs, right? Go into a Home Depot, go into a shopping store midday. You see all senior citizens in there. Now, there's nothing wrong with working in those places if you want to get out and socialize, but it's a horrible way to earn money. It's minimum wage, right? So what you're seeing is people that have worked for 40 years and still haven't figured out how to retire. And guys, the only reason you see old people that are poor is because they're young people that are poor that never figure it out. That's what an old person is that's living like this, right? It's just somebody that never took the time to hire a mentor to figure it out or get in front of the information. And that's why we created the Academy, is so nobody gets left behind, guys. See, we're simply not taught how to build wealth in schools. We're not taught decision-making. We're not taught self-image. We're certainly not taught wealth building, right? And we're not taught about paradigms. We're not taught about paradigms, guys. And paradigms is what I'm going to talk to you guys about over the next little segment here, because paradigms are controlling all of your results. All right, so a paradigm is a set of mental programs stored in your subconscious mind that's controlling all of your habitual behavior. I'm going to say this a few different ways because I really wanted to sink in. When you're born a blank slate. Your subconscious mind is wide open to suggestion. If you had grown up with Warren Buffett, you'd already be a billionaire by now, right? At least financially, you'd be doing well. So a paradigm is a set of mental programs stored in your subconscious mind that's controlling all of your habitual behavior, all of your results, right? You have a program called walking. You have a program called speaking. You have one called eating. You just don't have the program called earning $100,000 a month. Does that make sense, guys? Does that resonate with you? Type of 1 in the chat if that's resonating. I'm going to kind of hit you at a couple angles here and show you a couple other things. So think of a paradigm as like an operating system in a computer, because that's what it really is. It's the operating system of you stored in your subconscious mind. You're not thinking when you're walking. You're not thinking when you're speaking. I'm not thinking right now. I'm just giving a webinar. The only time we're thinking is when we're trying to solve a problem we don't know the answer to, or when we're writing. All I'm doing right now is accessing a program called Deliver a Webinar. Does that make sense, guys? So think of your subconscious mind as an operating system. It has programs. Now, up until now, you have not been in control of the programming. It was your parents, it was teachers, it was your friends, it was your family, it was everybody but you, because you didn't even know you were programmed in the first place. Do you guys see the big dilemma here? How can you fix something when you don't know how it got there? How do you reprogram something when you don't even know that you're programmed in the first place? All right, guys, And that's what we do in the Mindset Academy, is we reprogram you. Guys, you needed a mentor to walk. Think about this. You never would have learned to walk without a mentor. These are your parents. I could have given you a book on walking, right? I can give you all kinds of books on wealth building, but they're going to be largely ineffective until you get a mentor that can help you connect the dots. Does that make sense, guys? So smoking is not a physical addiction. It's a mental program. The actual habit of smoking, the physical part, is just a physical expression of a subconscious program called smoking that was given to you by somebody else. Either when you were young, your parents were doing it, or maybe you grew up in school and they were doing it, but you're not born smoking. It's a program, right? Everything is programs, and wealth building is a program. No different than smoking. Your subconscious mind would not know the difference between smoking and wealth building. Consciously, we know the difference. Well, we say one of them is, horrible and one of them would be really cool, but subconsciously, no difference. It's only your limiting beliefs that set up the difference, and that's in the conscious mind, right? So we're going to work with you guys on this, all right? We're going to show you how the 1% thinks. I'm going to show you exactly how myself, Madison, Darren, how we think and act and operate. All right, guys, so this is how probably most of you are programmed now, and there's no blame here. I was programmed like this for 40 years, so a lot of you are probably way younger than me. You're getting this information way earlier than I did, right? I would have went all the way to my grave if I didn't run into Bob Proctor, right? Somebody that knew how the wealthy people think and act and operate. So there's no judgment here. We're just here to help, all right? So this is how you're born. This is how we're programmed, right? The typical masses look at their results. You look at your bank account, you look at your body, you look at your relationships, and you use those results to cause your thinking from the day. And a lot of times, if you don't like your results, this is a low vibration of thinking. It could be even borderline depressive, right? And this thinking causes your feelings. Now, guys, feelings is a word that we made up to describe the conscious awareness of the vibration that you're in. I'm going to say that again. Feelings is a word that we use to describe your conscious awareness of the vibration that your mind and body is in. So if you tell me you feel sad, what you're saying is I'm in a low vibration. If you feel excited, you're saying I am in a high vibration. And you can see people all the time. Enthusiasm is a high vibration. People that are walking around like Grant Cardone is in a very high vibration, but he cannot even explain this stuff. He can't even explain it. He cannot articulate how he thinks and acts and operates. He can teach you about building real estate, but he can't teach you why he was successful at it. Does that make sense, guys? So these feelings cause our actions in the body. Everything responds to feelings. It's vibration. If you're in a low vibration, you're going to take low action. It's very depressing. All right, guys, so this is what Bob calls a self-fulfilling doom cycle, because you wake up, you look at your results. It causes you to think for the day, and that thinking causes your feelings for the day, and the feelings cause the same old actions as yesterday. All right, guys, so we're going to teach you to think and act and operate like the 1%. This is how I wake up in the morning. New thinking. My current goal is $10 million a month in recurring residual income, right? That's a short-term goal on the way to billionaire. Every morning, I supersaturate my mind with this. Mental and physical priming. I work out. I listen to a life script. I do this for a couple of hours, right? We get up before most people ever get up, and we're doing these things, right? So the new thinking causes new feelings or new vibrations, right? High vibrations. Well, new vibrations have to put the body into action, right? So I study my life script. I listen to my life script. I work out. I get all charged up, and I'm thinking about 10 million a day, 10 million a day, or 10 million a month, 10 million a month. And what it does is it causes me to think and act and operate. I reach out to investors in my software company. I reach out to prospects for my network marketing company. I reach out to close high-ticket deals for my consulting company. I talk about my clothing company, right? I get charged up, and then I take action through multiple revenue streams, working with people all over the world. And anybody can do this, right? Like I said, I was probably twice you guys' age before I even had a clue about this stuff. So don't think just because I'm older or anything like that, anybody could do this stuff, right? These new actions have to cause new results. Now, when I show you this makes sense, doesn't it? This is not rocket science. You guys just need to shift 90 degrees out of phase. Stop looking at your current results. Only think about the new thinking. Don't look at your past unless you want to go backwards. You want to look forwards with new thinking. Does this resonate, guys? Type of one in the chat if this makes sense. And what we can do here is we can get the PDF files out to Darren, and he can get these to you as well, so you can print these things out. All right, guys, so what we're talking about is changing your mind, but what does your mind look like? What does your mind look like? What do you type in the chat? What do you guys think the mind looks like? What do you guys think the mind looks like? Right, a lot of people think the mind is the brain, right? Your brain is no more your mind than your fingernails or skin. Your brain is an electronic switching station. It's an organ. It's part of your physical body, right? Your heart is a pump. Your mind is an electronic switching station, and your mind is no more your brain is no more your mind than your skin or your fingernails. Mind is movement. Mind is conscious awareness. It's energy. It's part of universal consciousness. It's actually vibration and movement, right? So it's spirit. Some people call it spirit or energy, depending if you are on the scientific side or the theological side. And since we don't know what the mind looks like, how do we change it? Right? So back in the 1930s, Dr. Thurman Fleet came up with this thing we call the stick man, and it gives a graphical representation of the mind-body connection, so we have an image to work with, right? If you wanted to change the paint in your bedroom, you would look at the color, you would have an image, and you change it to what you want. Well, since we don't have an image of the mind, what we're giving you here is an image. And let the upper half of the circle represent your conscious mind, the lower half is your subconscious mind, and the small part is your body, right? The body is the instrument of the mind. The body is the thing that physically creates and physically expresses what the mind is thinking. Now, since most people are not thinking, they do not create much. People like Steve Jobs were always thinking, they were always visualizing the future. They tapped into the power of the imagination to change the world. I mean, he changed half a dozen industries, right? So guys, you have a conscious, you have a subconscious, you have a body. Like I said, the subconscious mind is 1,000,000 times more powerful than the conscious mind as a data storage center. This is why once you have a habit, it becomes hard to change. But we know exactly how to change this. We know exactly how it got there. And this is exactly what we're doing in the Mindset Masters. All right, guys, so again, we're kind of born in ignorance. We're born with worry and doubt, negative thinking, our parents, school systems. And when you have worry and doubt in the conscious mind, it has to, by law, suppress into the subconscious mind and produce the emotion of fear. All right, guys, now fear is an invisible, irrational illusion. Fear doesn't exist unless you put energy towards it, just like the light won't come on unless you put energy towards it. Does that make sense, guys? So fear has to express to and through the body as the physical form of anxiety. So if anybody here has anxiety, this is why. It's the physical expression of the worry and doubt to and through your mind and expressing through your body, right? This is how this all works, guys. Now, anxiety leads to procrastination because when you get anxious about something, you tend to procrastinate. It's like, I know I should join Toastmasters. I want to be a good public speaker. Public speaking is a 7-figure superpower, but we get anxiety and then we don't join Toastmasters. Or you're working at a job and everybody around you is working at a job. And you're like, you know what, I want to join that network marketing company, but I don't know about those things and blah, 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 blah. We get anxiety and we don't join, we don't start, we don't move. We procrastinate, right? And then we go home and we sit on the couch and we turn the television on and we watch other people living their dreams, making millions of dollars while we're procrastinating. And this is what the masters are doing. This is why movies sell out. This is why Netflix and chill. Now, there's nothing wrong with Netflix. I watch Netflix, but I watch movies on Sunday nights, right? I usually put in a 14-hour day. Then I might watch something on Netflix, but I don't watch anything with commercials. I don't watch the news. I don't watch other people's agenda. I watch what I want to watch. That makes sense, guys? Now, what happens is procrastination leads to depression because it's depressing not to create. It's depressing to just bang away at a job for 40 years and then retire and die. That's depressing. That's where this comes from, right? So depression leads to dis-ease, which is a body not at ease. You always want to hyphenate that word. So you can see here, guys, on the left-hand side of the equation, you cannot get to depression unless you have ignorance and worry and doubt. You can't get there, right? So if we can cut things off at the worry and doubt, you never get to fear, you never get to anxiety, you never get to procrastination. Now, guys, look at the right side of this equation, the positive side, knowledge. That's what you're getting here tonight, by the way. You're getting a capful of how the world's wealthiest people think, act, and operate. When Warren Buffett gets an idea, he doesn't worry and doubt about it. He doesn't have fear. He has study and understanding, positive thinking. Positive thinking leads to faith. Faith is not a religious term, although it can be. It's a high vibration. Faith is knowing. Warren Buffett has faith. I have faith, right? Darren has faith. This leads to well-being and calmness. You'll never see me freaking out. You'll never see me panicking about this virus because that's an external environmental thing. I live from the inside out. Now, I am aware of the virus, but all I did was shift my companies to get in front of it. And our companies are flourishing more now than ever in the history of my entire life, right? And you guys can do the same thing. This is like the Great Depression. Certain people became millionaires and billionaires during and out of the Great Depression. We want you guys to be part of that 1%. We don't want to leave you stuck in fear and doubt and worry. We want to teach you guys how to have understanding and faith. You don't need to know how you're going to get to 100,000 a month. You just need to have faith. You just need to know that you can. If you knew how to get there, you'd already be there. You're not going to know how, guys. You just got to make a decision, get some mentorship, get around people that know what they're doing, and learn how to create wealth. It's actually very simple. So guys, type a 1 in the chat, not a 1, type in the chat, what do you think this looks like? What does this represent to you guys? Type in the chat, what does this look like to you guys? What do you guys think this looks like? Overthinking, that's a good one. Frustration, definitely. Overthinking, yep. The mind, well, it could be the mind. Actually, it is the mind of the masses. Stress, confusion, ball of confusion. Yeah, those are good. So this is the mind of the masses. Doubt, worry, fear, right? This is the programming of the masses. Now, guys, do you think you could ever create anything if your mind looks like this? This is what a low vibration looks like. You cannot create anything in low vibration except depression, right? This is chaos, fear, doubt, and worry. Low vibration creates more low vibration. It's the law of attraction too. Things attracted are on the same frequency. If you're in a low vibration, you're going to attract other low vibrating people, other low vibrating jobs and opportunities. It's all going to be low, 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 right? So what we want to do is get into a high vibration. This is not opinion, this is science. People say, I believe in the law of attraction. That's like saying you believe in the law of gravity or electricity. You may not be aware of how things attract, but believing in it is, I mean, that doesn't even make sense. That's like saying you believe in electricity. It's physics, right? So guys, type in the chat, what do you think this looks like? When you look at these pictures here, what words come to your mind? What does this look like? What do you guys think this looks like? Happy, success, maybe happy. I don't think Steve Jobs was ever really happy. Successful, I don't even think he was that successful. He was just really wealthy. He created a lot. I do think Bill Gates and Oprah are very happy, successful people. Definitely the fraction of 1%. They're in a fraction of 1%. Anything else? Accomplished? Sure. Anything else? Givers? Bill Gates is. I don't know about the rest of them. Right, guys, this is what faith looks like. It's definitely money. This is what faith looks like. I want you to really take this in. These people don't wonder if they're going to succeed. They don't spend any time wondering, or they don't care what you and I think either. That's the other thing. There's no fear, no doubt, no worry. Well, they might have a little fear, but they don't have doubt and worry, and they push through fear. See, faith is the opposite of fear. Faith is a high vibration. Faith is knowing. I don't wonder if I'm going to get to $21 billion when my software company sells. I know it's going to. It's physics. If I do certain things in a certain way for a period of time, we will create a company that sells for 21 billion. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg was a billionaire at age 23. I can certainly do it by age 60. Does that make sense, guys? You start to play around with this. Remember, $21 billion is not a lot of money. It's not big or small. It's just relative to thought. That makes sense? You guys start to play around with this stuff, you'll change things very, very quickly. All right, guys? So there's 7 main universal laws. Now, there's hundreds of universal laws, but there's seven main universal laws. One is the law of vibration. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the transmutation of energy. We have the law of opposites, law of polarity, right? Fear and faith, wealth and poverty. There's a law of opposites. You couldn't be inside if there wasn't an outside. You can't have light without darkness and vice versa. So these are universal laws like gravity and electricity that we are not taught in school. This stuff is actually simple to teach. And I cannot believe the school system doesn't have classes on this stuff. The law of rhythms. People don't know why things happen. Well, the tide goes out and it comes back in. Why is that? It's a law of rhythms. We have winter, spring, summer, fall. You don't have winter, winter, summer, winter, because there's universal laws controlling all this stuff. Guys, these are man-made laws. I mean, these are universal laws. They're not man-made, so they cannot be changed by man. What we're going to do is teach you to get in harmony with these. There's the law of gender, the law of relativity. We talked about that one. And we have the law of gestation, which states that every single seed that's planted has a gestation period, including the seed of thought of getting to 100,000 a month. All right, guys, so we're going to talk about some of these laws, and I want you to think about something. The most erudite physicist in the world in history can't explain gravity. We have theories, but there's no solid explanations, right? But we've learned to get in harmony with the universal law of gravity. Does this make sense, guys? We can't explain it, we can't alter it, but we can get in harmony with it. Well, there's universal laws that create wealth. Now, you're not going to be able to understand them. You cannot alter them. But if you get in harmony with them, wealth becomes very, very easy to achieve. And that's what Warren Buffett and Grant Cardone and people like myself, Bob Proctor, that's what we've learned to do. All right, guys, so I'm going to explain the law of attraction to you guys. You might want to take some notes on this one. If you're wondering, or you say, well, I believe in the law of attraction, I can manifest. I'm going to give you the science behind attraction so you can learn how to do it. And guys, everything in law operates by the laws of God and nature. You, me, acorns, everything. So I'm going to give you an example of the law of vibration. And vibration leads to attraction, right? The law of attraction is a secondary law. It responds to vibration. So if you look at a little acorn under a microscope, you would see that acorn is in a low vibration. The little subatomic particles and molecules are vibrating. There's no such thing as a steady state. Everything's in motion. There's actually no such thing as solid either. It's just a low vibration. And if you shrunk yourself down to microscopic size, you could fly right through an acorn. So everything is relative to size. So there's no such thing as a solid. Everything in the universe is actually just energy. A lot of times scientists will tell you there's energy and matter. That's not true. Everything is an expression of energy. We just see things in a low vibrational state as solids, all right? That's a whole different webinar. But if you look at an acorn under a microscope, you cannot deny that it's in motion. You can see it under a microscope. That's not my opinion. This is high school science, right? Now, if you take that acorn and you put it in the right environment, right? Little soil, a little bit of moisture, the right temperature, you'll see the vibration of that acorn start to increase and raise. The amplitude and the vibration will start to raise. As the vibration of the acorn rises, it will start to attract other things on the new frequency. It'll attract the minerals, the nutrients, the water, everything it needs to become the higher, fuller version of itself will come dancing right towards the acorn. Again, if you were under a microscope, you could see all these things dancing right towards the acorn. It's not opinion, it's science. Now, what you wouldn't see the earth just clump around it. It doesn't attract everything. It only attracts what it's in harmony with. You guys are attracting what you're in harmony with. And if you don't like your results, you need to change your vibration. And that's exactly what we teach. Does this make sense, guys? Does this resonate? When you're in the right environment, listen, if you grew up with Warren Buffett as your dad, the mental environment of wealth building would have been all around you. You'd be a billionaire already, right? So everything is vibration and frequencies. And that's what's going on here. So that's what the law of attraction is. When you raise your vibration, human beings are electromagnetic beings. We are magnets. The law of attraction should be called the law of magnetism because that's what it is. You raise your vibration, you start to attract things on that vibration. Why do you think billionaires hang out with each other? What is hanging out? Hanging out is magnetism. It's attraction. And why do you think depressed people hang out with each other? People of similar incomes hang out with each other, right? That's all attraction. It's all vibration. It's all frequencies. Remember when I told you levels of awareness? Those are levels of frequency. $1 million a month is a frequency. So is minimum wage. Make sense, guys? That should give you a good, solid understanding of the law of attraction. So you don't have to say, I believe in law of attraction. It's physics and science, right? And guys, you wouldn't go to the top of a building and ignore the law of gravity, would you? Think about this. You're not going to go to the top of a building and challenge gravity. So why would you go to $100,000 a month, get that idea, and then not be in harmony and second guess yourself, have fear, doubt, and worry? That's exactly what you're doing. It's no different, right? We need to get in harmony with $100,000 a month if that's what you guys want. And guys, I want you to think about your subconscious mind identical to a garden bed. It really is. Think of a brand new, freshly tilled garden, and your subconscious mind is no different. When you're born, this is what you look like. And what your subconscious mind is waiting for is seeds of thought, programming, right? I really want you to think about this, guys, because this is what's going on. Now, play along with me here. If you had a garden in the month of May and you tilled it like this, you got it all ready to go, and then you left for 4 months, May, June, July, August, and you came back at the end of August, what do you guys think this garden would look like? I want you to play along with me. What would this garden look like after 4 months? What do you guys think would happen? A field of mud? No, it wouldn't be mud. Sprouting, stems. No, we didn't plant anything, right? You just tilled the garden. You didn't plant a single thing. What do you guys think this would look like? I want you to think. Who said weeds? There you go. Weeds. It wouldn't be the same at all, guys. It would look like this. Think about this. Really think about this. That garden would not be mud. It wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be sprouting. It would be overgrown 12 feet of weeds in 4 months with humidity and moisture and all that stuff, right? Really think about this, because this is how your subconscious mind is, guys. In the absence of planting what you want, you're going to get what you don't want by the law of polarity, the law of opposites, right? Think about this. If you're not planting 100,000 a month in your mind every single morning, noon, and night, then you're going to get minimum wage. You're going to get what you don't want. There's no such thing as neutral. There is no such thing as something that's not moving. You're either moving backwards or forwards at all times. You're either getting richer or poorer at all times. You're either getting more physically fit or you're breaking down at all times. There's no such thing as a steady state. $1 million a bank is going backwards due to inflation. Nothing in the universe is still or at a steady state. So think about that. If you're not consciously planting what you want, relationships, faith, fitness, finances, every single day, if you're not visualizing that, by the law of polarity, you're going to get what you don't want. And if you look at your results, I'm sure you can list off a half a dozen things that you don't want. All right, guys, that makes sense? Type a 1 in the chat if that makes sense, because this analogy usually really hits home with people. Your subconscious mind, you guys need to plant what you want. And that's what we do in the Mindset Masters, guys. We use the daily spaced repetition to help you plant ideas of wealth in your mind. All right, guys, remember what I said? Wealth is 95% mindset, 5% what you do. I think you understand now that I'm accurate. It's not opinion, right? It's not opinion at all. I want you guys to imagine wherever you are right now, I want you to imagine being engrossed in the information that I'm teaching here for the next year. Every single day, getting capfuls of this information, learning how to build wealth, being in a community of like-minded wealth-building people. I want you to imagine what your life would look like 12 months from now, right? What would you be doing? What would your income look like? Because the information that we teach in the Mindset Masters is identical to the mindset of Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Warren Buffett, Steve Jobs. I don't wonder how those people think. I cracked the code. I know exactly how they think. And we teach this. And none of this is my information, right? So think about that. The information that we teach in the Mindset Masters is identical to the way Warren Buffett processes information. Remember, I showed you the stock trader slide, right? If you'd like to learn to think like Warren Buffett, then you can join us in the Mindset Masters. And even Grant Cardone, who is incredibly ignorant about the mindset, he actually went on stage and he said the law of attraction is a bunch of bullshit. Think about it. Somebody that's attracted everything in his life, but he's not versed. He's completely ignorant when it comes to understanding the mind. But he doesn't have to know this. He's an unconscious competent. What he did in his mid-40s is he had a paradigm shift. And then he super saturated his mind with what he wanted. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired and broke. I want to be a billionaire. What he did is he raised his vibration and he attracted everything to him. The people, the places, the things, the circumstances. All this stuff that he calls physical wealth starts in the mind. But he cannot teach this stuff to you guys. He can teach you real estate. He cannot teach you the mindset behind who he is. Warren Buffett can teach you investing, but he cannot teach you the mindset that we teach in the Mindset Masters. All right, guys, and the same thing, the information we teach in the Mindset Masters is exactly how Alex Morton thinks and acts and operates. He trains one-on-one with Bob. All right, he's a mentee of Bob, and so am I. So I don't have to wonder if this stuff works. We just got to wonder if you guys are going to choose to stay stuck or if you're going to choose to move forward. And what we're doing here, guys, Matt, if you could drop that link in here, you guys can join the Mindset Masters. It's 67 cents a day. Like, you can literally collect cans to join and start to work with us. We go live every Monday night in a live webinar. We can give you examples of that. We do daily live coaching. We have a whole bunch of webinars and seminars back there for real estate and network marketing. If you want to learn to think and act and operate like Maddie and I do, like Darren does, like Warren Buffett, like all these other people, then I would not hesitate. I would not hesitate. See, millionaires and billionaires, we make decisions very quick. If something resonates, we do it. I want you to think about this. Right or wrong, make a decision. And I don't mean tomorrow, I mean tonight. because the road of life is paved with flat squirrels that are unable to make decisions. This is the masses, guys, right? Don't be stuck in the masses. Now, listen, it doesn't matter to me whether you join or not. It's 67 cents a day. I'm not getting rich off of this, right? This is so no one gets left behind. It doesn't get any easier than this. There's no other program in the world like this where you're able to interact with a mentor on a live Zoom on Monday nights. So do it or don't do it, but make a decision. All right, guys? So it has been a blessing and an honor to serve you here tonight. Type a 1 in the chat if you got some value out of this. Hopefully we're giving you guys a lot of value. Maddie, if you could drop the link in the chat for these guys, please, on how to join the Mindset Masters. Drop it a couple times because it's probably going to scroll by a couple times. Hopefully we've given you some value. Darren, if you want to come back on, any last words? It's been an honor and a blessing to serve you, to work with you, and I look forward to serving your community.
Yeah, thank you so much for the knowledge and wisdom. And yeah, guys, as he said, I mean, check out the link, get locked in right away. I mean, we all have so much free time. You want to feed your mind, you know, plant seeds of abundance and watch it sprout, guys. I mean, this is no joke. These mindset mastery teachings, you know, if you apply them into your day-to-day, you know, patterns of thought, it's crazy how much life changes. You can't change what's around you, but you can change how you perceive what's going on. And this is 100% what you guys should do. I mean, $20 a month, it's available to everyone and anyone. So feel free to share this with people you guys know. You know, get everyone plugged in so everyone you know can join the 1% with you. Thanks again, Brian, Madison. Appreciate you guys. And yeah, looking forward to seeing everyone on the inner circle.
Awesome, brother. Appreciate you too. Be well and God bless, guys.